The Sony T9MER Betamax. What total opulence. Let's crack on. Hello and welcome to another MrBetaByte video, and this one's a little bit different insofar as we're looking at a Sony SL-T9MER. So this isn't the ME version, which is just two heads, similar to C5, C7. This actually has four heads, and two of those head chips are actually used for the NTSC as far as I'm aware. So this is early 80s. The T9 came out in 79. I think this is a little bit later than that, from what I understand. But yeah, what a fantastic looking machine. Really very opulent in its look, and yeah, just the gold everywhere, and just the sheer beauty of this machine. The plastics for the clock, they're clear on the C5 and C7. They're actually gold with just that little window there for to display the time. It's the finish is really good. It's just can't get over it. It's also got sort of chrome effect on the side as well. I mean, it's all plastic, of course, but yeah, very snazzy. And the brushed metal color 3 system badge as well is very nice. And it has the large Sony badge, similar to the SL-8200. Really screams out, look, I went out and bought quality, and I bought a Sony. You know, quite a bit bigger than on the C7, C5. And but the timer and the clock, much more basic. Again, it's more like the SL-8200. So yeah, maybe that's where they cut corners a little bit to make up for the increased cost of the mechanism. So yes, we looked at this in a previous video, a bit of an appraisal video, and we discovered that it's got servo issues. So unsurprisingly, because these do all seem to suffer with servo issues at some point. So yeah, let's take it apart and delve in and have a look. It's going to be a sort of a bit of a quicker video, just because I'm just going to show each portion of what I do rather than the whole sort of process. So yeah, let's crack on. So I got to the servo boards. It's very similar to the NEC PVC 740, 700. Insofar as it's not on the bottom board, it's sort of under the beside the tuning section. So yeah, you can see some blue Sanya capacitors, 3 there, a couple more there. I don't think there are any on here that I can see. Yeah, which oh no, there's one. So yeah, so that's got to come out as well. So yeah, we'll get and do that, and see if that returns the servo to a working condition. So yeah, let's crack on. Okay, so let's get this back together. And it's been a few days since I've worked on this, so I've probably forgotten where everything goes, but anyway. Okay, so we're back in. I'm not going to put the tuning section in. It should work perfectly fine without this. Obviously, we won't have the RF tuning and RF out, but that's fine. Don't need that anyway. We're going to be using the AV out to test it. But yeah, so there's one plug on there that needs to be plugged in when that goes back in, and that plug there actually goes on the top board there. And what actually is that? Because that's looking a little bit like audio. So maybe we'll need that. We'll check. We'll see. We'll see what happens when we plug it in without it. It's easy enough to just sort of get it out, or just put it around the back, to be honest, just so we can still get to the servo section. And that looks a little bit crusty, but yeah, so we'll power it on and see what it does. Okay, so let's power it on. We've got the timer flashing lights like on the SL-8200 as well. So this is basically saying the clock's not set. So let's see. Now I wonder, because two of the capacitors I fitted on this board, I wasn't sure I put them in the right order. I took two out at the same time, and there's a 1 microfarad and a 4.7, and I think I might have put the values the other way around to where they were supposed to be. Yeah, let's just see what we are getting. Nothing. No video out. I don't even know what, because I've got a format light coming on there flickering, so it's picking up something from its so the head motor is fine for that. But it's barely spinning for playback. It's like turning really, really slowly and trying desperately hard to start. So I've obviously done something wrong there. My money's probably on the caps. It was actually on here. So it was those two that I think were wrong, or I think I might have got wrong. Yeah, I had some confusion as well when I was putting this together with this lead, because I'd forgotten that it actually goes over the other side of the deck, and yeah, that was a bit annoying. Okay, I'll have a closer look. Like I say, I've got a manual, but it's all in Arabic, so I can't really, some of it I can decipher, but it's tricky. Might have to use Google Lens on that, but yeah, okay. I'll have a closer look and we'll take it from there. So C201 and C, what was it, 2220, I think it was, are now changed, and I actually put a 4.7 in instead of a 0.47 as well, which wouldn't have been helping things. I actually managed to do it without taking the board out any further than that, so just wedged my screwdriver in there just to help keep it away, so I didn't melt any plastic. But yeah, let's give it a try. I have to say, every time I power this up I'm a bit nervous, because that power supply I just don't know what the caps are like in there, and those mains caps, yeah, I wonder how bad they are. But it's quite a complex power supply as well, so yeah, anyway, let's power it on and keep our fingers crossed. Super. So we still have an issue. Just sort of hunting about. What have I missed? Might have to get into the manual a bit more and just try and find out why the head motor's running so slowly. So a bit of a clue. I'm not getting any video, and I'm just wondering if that might be something to do with that board not being in. Maybe control pulses? I find it a bit odd that control pulses would go through to an audio board, because I'm sure that's what it is. But I'm going to plug it in and see if it makes any difference. Okay, so we're plugged back in. It's to do with that board. And we have liftoff. That's really interesting. There's obviously control pulse type stuff going on there. God, it's nice, isn't it? Really nice. Tracking furthest left, tracking furthest right. So it's not bad at all. I might just try, just for the fun of it, a SECAM cassette. So, French SECAM cassette, as recorded on the F1F. And yes, SECAM. That's really cool. Let's try an NTSC cassette. Okay, so here we go. NTSC, this is the ES Sony cassette, which I believe weren't as good as the ones you got, but anyway. So it's detected it. Oh. .43, it understands it. There's a bit of clicking going on. Do we have a problem with the heads, maybe? It's playing correctly.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to Saturday Night at Cruisers.
Oh, let's try the tracking actually.
Berlin Wall, 1989. With it, the Iron Curtain separating communist
Ah, I know what it could well be.
had thus taken an enormous tumble. And when the USSR itself began to break up a year or two later, the Cold War...
It could well be. Although, what's there? Oh, I know what it is. This is done in Super Beta. So it is struggling a bit. Doesn't like the Super Beta. Just see if I can find, I think somewhere I've got an NTSC tape that isn't actually recorded in Super Beta. Just see if I'm right on that. I think I am, but we'll see. Quite used to being wrong about stuff. Let's crack on. I had a dig around and found a couple of cassettes, definitely NTSC. So give my regards to Broadway, we'll give this a go. It's okay. Just going to wind it on a little bit. Oh, it's Scotch, which might not be okay because these tend to shed. Okay, so I have noise. The top of the picture is fine. It's just literally... I better mute that sound, didn't I? Hang on a sec. There we go. I do actually wonder if I'm getting noise coming in from somewhere. Although the noise goes still as well. Why would that be? I mean, it's almost like it is on the tape. But it can't be. What am I missing? Something a bit odd there. Let me try the other cassette. So, let's try this one. And work out how to get into it. Ooh, it's a bit posh, isn't it? Just going to wind this on a little bit. There is mould on this cassette, so I'll need to treat that at some point. Just has some noise creeping in. Oh, that's actually thrown my copy box. It's like it's shifted. Oh, it's just gone back to PAL. That's interesting. Oh, that's a bit all over the place. Oh, I nearly had a proper picture. It's almost like I do have a head chip problem. But my feeling is I've probably got an RF issue. So I might have to put the scope on and just see what the RF looks like from each head chip. I'll need to work that out from the manual because obviously this is a 4-head machine. So yeah, it's going to be a bit interesting because the manual is not that clear. But I assume, well, I'll have to work it out. I assume it all goes on in this can here. But yeah, we'll just have to see. So yeah, let's crack on. In fact, what I'm actually tempted to do, because I am a bit nervous about this power supply still, is get the power supply out and just check those caps, especially the mains cap. So yeah, I think that might be a good idea. So do that next, and then we'll take it from there. Let's crack on. So I've put the tuner unit back in. It's easy to do, and put the red connector back in, and something a bit interesting. I tapped the back, and I don't know, it's almost like I've got a grounding fault. I did actually, by tapping this, get an actually absolutely perfect, oh, nearly perfect picture. It's not perfect, but yeah, I've got some sort of grounding issue there. Yeah, so that's interesting. It sort of makes sense to me that it is, because it doesn't look head related because of how it's sort of from the top there. The first sort of 20 centimeters, sort of inch, maybe inch and a half, 30 centimeters is fine and absolutely perfect. Yeah, just even flexing the can at the back makes a difference. So just moving it about. So yeah, we'll have a look at that. Probably what I'll do is I'll look at it off camera and then let you know what I found. But that's encouraging. I did clean the heads, but I dropped the piece of paper and it's actually at the bottom of the deck. So not too worried about that, because I have to do the belts at some point. That probably won't be in this video. Let me know if you'd like to see me do the belts on this. It's the same as the C5, C7, and I have shown that on previous videos, but maybe I'll do a quick midweek video or something doing those belts. But yeah, I think it's time to get this power supply done. I'm going to do the buttons as well, because that one's okay, but these two aren't. Those are actually okay, but they are not going to last. So I'm going to do all of these buttons as well, and you can see why they put a scaled down clock in these, just because the power supply is so blinking big, there's not space, because the C7 one goes back to like here. So yeah, I sort of understand that now, although I'm sure they could have designed it in, but yeah, anyway, let's crack on. So next thing I'm going to do is sort out both the clock and the power supply. So clock needs to come out first, hence why I'm going to do the clock. Buttons while this is out, and screw under here. I think it's just pretty much just one screw and then it unhooks. Yeah, which it does. Another grounding strap there. Take that out there. I'm going to take these out from here, because obviously power supply's got to come out, but it just keeps, well, they're hardwired anyway. I thought they were plugged in, but they're not, so that's okay. Such a simple clock compared to C7, and no backup battery, which is great, because they're just killers of these things. So it's going to be these green screws by the looks of it. I don't know whether there's all three that need to come out on the front here. Apologies for the noise, it's quite noisy outside. I think it's an aircraft going past or something. So that's for the clock, that short one. It's a bit of insulating plastic there. Not too sure how this is all going to come out with this board on the back. Might probably have to slide that out anyway, so let's take off these two top retainers. I'll just move them out of the way. One right at the back as well, which you probably can't see. Let's pull these connectors off. rock them back and forth gently. Don't really like pulling connectors by the wires, but sometimes seems to be the easiest way. Does this slide out now? Do I have to unplug it? Looks like I have to unplug it. Well, let's take out the power supply. I thought there were screws at the back, but there aren't. So this should just come out. And then grounding strap, I'm holding the camera. How do I want to do that? They're on closed, both on closed loops. So I suppose take that one out. Get screw with that. Can I now just do the nifty manoeuvre of pulling this out and sliding that board out? Yes. Without having to unplug it. I mean, it would have been fine to unplug it, but yeah, so there it is. And so the PCB is there. So I think I've opened this before, and because I seem to remember there was, or am I thinking of the, oh, I don't know, maybe I'm thinking of the NEC. I think what I might do is just take this top off. Yeah. So let's put the camera down so I've got two hands, otherwise we'll be here all day. Right, so it looks like these two screws also holding on. I'm not sure that one is. I think this should just come off now, yeah. So super long screws there for the, I'm glad I didn't try to take this off, although probably it would just all lift out. Yeah, I think it will. I think it will lift out. No, I've not had this apart before. I'd remember this. I'm a bit confused as well. I've got two different types of screw there. Maybe it's been opened before. So these are all short. That one's stripped. Yes, that gives us full access to the power supply. It might be nice just to see. Yeah, I've already changed them. I have had this apart. I must have done that in part one, or the first parts. So I've wasted my time doing that, really, haven't I? Out of interest, let's just see. This is the thing, it's so long since I worked on this last, I don't remember. And I could have watched the other video, but I haven't had time, believe it or not. I sort of quite like the element of surprise in my videos as well. So that is all good. Yeah, I seem to remember there's something. Oh, that might have been the NEC actually. I can't remember. Yeah, it's clean enough. I'm just a bit surprised how I put the screws in. That back on. And it's quite a nice surprise, really. That one. And that one. Ah, that's the bad screw. For some reason that is missing most of its thread. I'm just going to find, because I think these should be short as well, not that and that. So yeah, I'll just find some more screws. There we go. So that one in there. There. And what was the other one there? So these only just really bite, which is fine. But yeah, so that's all good. Just clean off that bit of dust there. Super. So yeah, let's slip it back in. So to be fair, I'll probably get the sheet in after I've got the PCB in, but that's fine. And it just slides back into position. Put those on first. I don't think it really matters, but actually really easy to work on. Once you know, they're really easy to work on. That's it, that's in. And that little assembly goes on there somehow. There we go. And this swings back around to keep that board in. The hair on the top, not the rabbit variety. And green screws there and there. There was another, wasn't there? The one that went on there, which you can't quite see. So there's that one at the back. Super. So that's looking good. We see a few little bits of dust, so I'm going to clean those out, and then we'll have a look at this clock. Let's crack on. Okay, so let's have a look at these buttons on the clock. And I've managed to lose my usual screwdriver. No idea where I've put it. Building a PC this afternoon and Used it for that, and it has vanished. I do not know where it is. It's probably somewhere really silly. So just taking the top off, I think I can do that. Or do I need to... because there's this here. Does that unclip? So this slides forward. Maybe that's all I need to do. Let's get this screw out. Slide this forward. Does it let me do that? No. No, so I need to take the front off. Well, it's a bit involved. Something that could be a lot simpler. So, so all the short screws again. Does that actually, so we've got a bit of metal there. Is that enough? No, of course it isn't. Do I really have to take that all apart? Looks like I do. So this plastic has to come off as well. So I have to take this board, which is not really playing ball. As it should. There we go. I don't know, I was stuck on something. Yeah, it's stuck on that peg. And then this comes out. Then we've got the two screws. One there, one there. So get those out. And then this should come off. There we go. So we've got these, our favourite switches. So to get the board off is interesting. So it looks like you need to lift this, plastic pegs here, which don't give you an awful lot. So it looks like I have to remove this. Grounding strap there. So this has to pull out, by the looks, this has to pull out so it can get over that lip of the plastic there. Then it's very similar really to C7. So far as it sort of just unfolds. I don't really need to take the board out of there. I mean, I could do. It's just on two clips. You see those? Clip down there. It's a clip over there. So I could take that out, but I don't see the point. because I just don't need to. So my next decision is, do I do these like I did the NEC PVC 740? Just cut off the top, glue a push button on the top, and then solder wire down through, or do I do it how I used to do it, which is just get a long actuator type button and do it that way. It's such a shame they fail. And the clock ones actually don't feel too bad. That one's about to fail. Okay. I think what I'll do is I'll get what buttons I have and to see what's possible, really. So I think I'm going to go with the stick-on, glue on the button and solder on. This is a button that works, so it's up. And these actually are pretty much flat. In fact, this is actually a tiny bit lower, which is what I want, really. Just so you've got plenty of flexibility for making sure that it's all good. So what I'll do is I'll just solder the buttons and we'll get gluing. I'll just show bits as I go along and we'll take it from there. Let's crack on. So I've cut the tops off. You can actually just sort of cut at the base of the switch toggle, and with a knife, I use a scalpel, and then just break them off, and they do tend to come off fairly cleanly. Some of these are not that well desoldered, just discovered. It's a bit annoying. I think these may be a bit better, but yeah, I had to be particularly careful with these because I don't want to lob off a LED. But yeah, probably have to just, oops, went flying. God, did I even do that one? And that one's actually a bit tight too. Yeah, so I'll get those sorted, then we'll get gluing with those buttons. So yeah, let's crack on. Okay, so let's get these switches done. I won't show all of this. I won't show me doing every single one, but yeah, to get them really quite splayed out. So I don't always like, sometimes they break, although these seem to be fairly hardy. I've just had a sneezing fit, so sorry if I'm sniffing. And much super glue there, but that's fine. Should get away with that. And stick that on. Get it centralized as much as possible. Try not to glue my finger to it. That's it. It's not sitting very well. Just keep that pressed down a little bit longer. So obviously you want it as flat as possible.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
That's it. All good to go. It's fairly central. That'd be fine. So yeah, I'll do the rest and we'll crack on. Okay, so let's do one of these switches. And I always forget which way these actually work. So on the switch itself, these two are one side of the switch, these two are the other side. So yeah, I always want to go across, not up and down, if that makes sense. So got one of these. It's probably going to be horribly out of focus, some of this. It's held on, but it's not actually making a very good contact. There we go. And then just bring it down. And I have found just a couple of winds on the actual contact itself is perfect. I'm just going to put a tiny bit of solder on there because it doesn't need any more than that. There we go. So that's that side done. A wisp. And I push that side of the contacts down. And then I push that one down just because I keep forgetting which one I need to solder to. And do the same on this side. And it's actually quite a joy doing it for this machine, because when you're doing it for like something like a C7, it has so many of these TOKO switches that it's a complete pain. Just continue to wind that up so we don't have a whisker hanging about. I had a bit of a whisker on the other side, but I'm okay with that. But yeah, I'm just being a little bit maybe OCD. But I do like things done as properly as I possibly can, given the talents I have. In inverted commas, talents. There we go. So first one's done. Like I say, there's a bit of a whisker there. I wonder if I can just put just a tiny bit of solder on there without melting the switch. Yes, I can. A bit wispy. There we go. Not great, but yeah, it's done. And I've not put, like I say, it's just being careful of the solder on the actual legs, because you need to obviously get this back in, and you don't want too much solder building up, and obviously once you solder it in, it'll be all fine anyway. But yeah, I suppose I ought to just test it. I'll test each one before I put them or reinstall them. Yeah, this is one that's actually a little bit misaligned how I glued it, which is a bit unfortunate, but it'll be fine. So that's done. So just going to do that another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, and we'll be good to go. I won't show that, but yeah, let's crack on. So, buttons are done, and yeah, they all test okay. I mean, I've been quite thorough testing them, to be honest, because it's a bit of a pain to get this all apart again. So yeah, let's see if I can actually remember how this all goes back together. And so that needs to go over there and into there, like so. Then we've got the black plastic assembly, which goes like so. Where did the ground go? That has to go through there. There we go. Oh, and that went flat. So I had to pull that up to do something. I can't remember. Like so. Now, there was a bit of plastic, wasn't there? So that needs to go in first. We've got this as well. So yeah, I'm gonna have to watch back my video, aren't I? And just see where everything goes. How did this go? All good fun. Well, I looked back to my video, and yeah, it's actually really straightforward, as you'd expect, really, to be fair. So the one earth that comes off the switches is bent back, goes underneath, and that's the one that connects, or yeah, connects to ground via the mounting screw. Then you got this one, which goes to here. So yeah, the plastic. How I took it out was the other way around to how I've put it in, just because it fits much better with this cutout here. It seems to stay there. I don't know whether that, well, I don't think it's ever been apart, to be honest, but yeah. So this wire here, I think, comes through here. Look at the video I did. So let's push this back, and we've got to get a little locating dimple. So make sure we get that in there. It's difficult to actually see that you have got it in there because of the ribbon cables. Yeah, that sticks out there. That's fine. So let's pop the screws back in. And I picked up, no I haven't, I thought I picked up the machine head screw, but I haven't. So this metal shield here, I think one part of it is narrower than the other. This is wider, and I think the wider one actually goes there, just so, well, you can see it does, just so it clears the mounting plastic for the LED. So that's all good. So let's get this back in, and white connector in there, and then we've got those two connectors there that go to the power supply there. Now to focus at the back there. And this does actually just slide back and lock in, so that's now in, can't lift it, and screw in there, and put this onto the ground. So, and then got these, so in there, and there, and that's it. Apart from a few dirty finger marks. Final check on those buttons. They are just great. It's the best one I've done, to be honest. And that's the way I'm going to be doing them from now on. It's just, it's a no-brainer. They work so well when they're done like that. So yeah, I suppose we ought to power it on and see if everything works. Let's crack on. Okay, so here it goes. Looking good. So I think I can press that. Oh, timer set. Oh, I went past it. 21. 14. Oh, 15. That'll do. Timer set. And then run time or record time 30 minutes. Really is a cut down timer, isn't it? So yeah, so this video is getting quite long, so, and I've got quite a bit more to do on this machine, to be fair. I've got to sort out that issue with NTSC, and I'm pretty confident I know what's going on with that as well. It's not a grounding issue, that's the clue. Let me know in the comments if you've got a bit of an idea of where I'm going with this, or what you think might be wrong. And obviously we've got the belts to do as well. Now, this does have the original belts, but they are working so well, I'm almost tempted to not change them, but I just know that in a very short time those belts are going to give up. That one belt goes from the bottom of the head drum to the idler assembly or system is deformed, and you can just see it's going to cause trouble much sooner rather than later. So yeah, I'd have no trouble sending this if I knew that I could send the belts afterwards, and there was somebody that could change them there, but I believe there isn't. So yeah, they will have to be done, and it replaces the idler ties as well. There was a squeak, but that squeak is the cassette. Remember, we've used that cassette before, and it does squeak. So I'm not too worried about that, but we'll test just in case we do have issues. But otherwise, I mean, what a fantastic machine. And I have really gone for it on this machine just because, or documenting it, just because of what it is. It's such a rare machine, and it's such a lovely machine. And I'm really sad to actually be parting with it. But it does have a new home. And I know it will be loved and cherished, so that's all I want. So with that, thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and yeah, the part 2 to this may well be next week or the week after. It really depends how long the belts take to come from Australia. So yeah, keep an eye out. I'll probably put a post up as well to say when it's imminent. But yeah, bye for now.